Hippity hoppity, taking back my property.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Clement the Worrywort. This is a Simic Frogs deck. We've got blue and green enter the battlefield effects paired with ways to bounce things back into our hand and a little bit of ramp based on our frogs. Clement the Worrywort is a 3-mana 3/3 with Vigilance, and whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under our control, we can return something with a lesser mana value back into our hand. And since our frogs tap for mana while Clement is in play, we can use both enter the battlefield abilities and lots of great creatures to make the best use of Clement. This deck also gets to use other ways to bounce things back into hand, like Shrieking Drake, Dowerport Mage, Leap Leaf Guide, and ways to bounce our opponent's stuff back into their hands, like the Aether Channeler and Nightclub Bouncer, making this a tried and true tempo deck. Because if your opponent can't stick their threats to the board, or if we can nullify those threats with things like Tishana's Tidebender, counter spells, or various effects like Frogify, Eaten by Piranhas, and things like that, we are going to gain the advantage by the sheer number of frogs that we can get into play, put back into our hand, and then play again. But it's not just frogs. We have some really good blue-green spells that we can put back into our hand, cast repeatedly, and use to counter our opponent's spells, to keep them off the board while we continue to get on-cast triggers or enter the battlefield triggers off things like the Great Henge to get more card advantage, grow our frogs, and then swing in for lethal. And of course, because this is a deck that is doing things at instant speed, we can do them at even more instant speed if we happen to have a ley line of anticipation in play, turning all of these into flash cards. That's right, cards that you can play at any time, which is fantastic if you're just looking to throw down a creature, bounce your blocker back into hand using Clement's abilities, and really just take out your opponent's ability to deal damage to you while you manipulate the board. So we're going to take these frogs into the queue, and we're going to hop all over our opponents. Gadwick the Wizened. Gadwick taps down permanents when you cast blue spells, and he also draws cards when you enter the battlefield based on the amount of mana that was spent on him. So you put a whole bunch of mana into Gadwick, draw the spells that you really want, and then you counter and tap down all of your opponent's stuff on their turn, your turn, any turn to prevent them from attacking you, prevent them from blocking you, all while you do, mono blue stuff, because it's a mono blue commander. But Clement managed to resolve, so that's kind of cool. I don't really want to bounce my Birds of Paradise back into hand, no. I love these two in hand, though. Leap Leaf Guide combined with Mystic Snake means that each turn for 5 mana, I just have a reusable counter spell. We use this ability to bounce this, and each time the Mystic Snake and the Leap Leaf Guide will get bigger, so it's even better. I do not have anything for you yet, Cyber Siphoner. I was just doing mono blue stuff. I'm just gonna hold up my counter spells here. Alright, so that was a Brazen Borrower. I am going to use Mystic Snake to counter Petty Theft. I don't want to put my Birds of Paradise back into hand, no. But I do want to counter that spell. Yeah, having turn 1 ramp meant that we were able to resolve something, which puts us at, like, a very nice start against what is also very much a tempo deck. Hello, yes. This is Frog. Frog Druid, in fact. I wonder what Clement's worrying about. I should probably read, like, his lore, his little story. I assume there is one. He's worrying about them warts. Oh no, because he's a frog. The whole, like, frog warts thing. Okay, I get it. I get it. I'm gonna hold up Subtlety here over playing the Topiary Stomper. Oh, Melphis Official! Thank you for the sub. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna be holding up the full cast of Subtlety because somebody decided that they would counter, or, well, stifle my land. That's alright. I don't want to bounce either of those back into hand. since I want the Leaf Leap Guide to be able to bounce other things back into hand. I do technically have the Subtlety here, but I don't really want to burn both of these, unless I really have to. Siphoner, though, not doing anything right now. They might cast stuff on my turn. They're a blue deck. But they're a blue deck that's going to really need some blockers soon, since we're going to be growing our creatures, bouncing our creatures. You know, Clement stuff. Sweet little Clementine. Oh, they're going to make Clement utterly insignificant. That's actually totally fine. The Leaf Leaf Guide is what you should be terrified of. Ooh, the Lockbox! Okay, so Lockbox is going to name a mana value in secret. My guess is they chose 4. And that way they can copy the thing that I cast. And they know that I have a 4-drop counterspell and I can cast again. Or maybe they chose 3, thinking, oh, she's going to put Clement back into hand and recast it. Because I might. Why does this thing have Vigilance is a wonderful question. Man, I love frogs too. Okay, Hedron Archive. As a reminder, if I do this, they may have named 4, and then my snake gets countered. Sort of. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put the Mystic Snake back into hand. And I'm going to attempt to counter the Hedron Archive with its Enter the Battlefield ability. Now, apparently they did not name 4 because the Ominous Lockbox didn't trigger. Huh. I was gonna have to, like, subtlety the copy of the Mystic Snake. Oh, good for me. This very much works out in my favor. That tells me they named 3. They thought I was gonna put that Clement back into hand. A sweet little Clementine. If I play the Boseiju, over using it to, like, free him or destroy something there, I get closer to you attacking, and I like that. They're down to 5 life. This card coming out as what was the, like, nail in the coffin of I'm building frogs. Leap Leaf Guide? So good. GG, Gadwick. Dina, Soul Steeper. Dina is going to drain me for life whenever they gain life. This is an infinite combo with Exquisite Blood, so I'm going to have to keep an eye out for them using tutors on top of just Golgari life gain. Things that have lifelink, things that just gain life when you cast them, or something like Shelter that gains you life when you draw cards. There's a lot of cards that are really good with Dina. She also has the Sacrifice ability, but in all of the games I have played against Dina, that Sacrifice hasn't usually been that relevant. It's usually not what they're building around. They're usually building around something like, yeah, Shadowheart's pretty cool. I have this 3-tree scribe, which I could use to grow my creatures. I have Poison Dart Frog, that's just mana. I'll go for the 3-tree scribe. In case I need to trade. There's just a couple of good frogs. Hi, Dina. Yeah, this Shadowheart, if they specialize into black, it gets lifelink, which would mean that on attacking, they would be gaining life, but also at the end step, when it deals damage to both players, they could gain more life. If I put this back into hand, I get a +1/+1 counter onto Clement. I don't really need that right now. I'm just gonna chill, sit here, hang out. I've seen people use the Sacrifice ability occasionally, but I feel like it's never really the thing for the deck. Usually they're running a lot of tutors, like this. They just used Coveted Prize, and Coveted Prize absolutely may have just gotten Exquisite Blood. I have this Boseiju. We're going to hold on to this as long as we can. Thinking about throwing that back into hand. I don't need to grow anything here. Okay, witness protection. That's a way to cut off this combo here. I'm gonna swing in with Clement, see if they want to trade with Shadowheart, since this is right now the only life gain piece that they could have. I'm gonna turn Dina into a whole bunch of nothing. And I'm still trying to decide, do I want to play the PDF? I think I want to play the PDF. The paws and doink frog. It's so cute. Look at it. Look at this thing. Hey, Blood Artist. Things dying will also cause a gain and drain. And they're sacrificing Dina for a second tutor. Maybe a little bit of redundancy. Shadowheart still just like, die, also die. Coalition Construct. This is kind of like a maybe card in this deck. It's cute because it is a shapeshifter kind of card where, like, it's a frog and it buffs other frogs. And that's cool. I wish it were a little better, but it's cool. I guess I could bounce one of those. I'm not going to. We're just gonna buff the frogs. Enhance my frogs. I'll get attacking with Clement. Yes, they could have Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood in the deck as a backup to Dina. They could also use Veto instead of Dina. I'm going to evoke Muldrifter. And this is a 5-mana spell, so I'm going to put the Coalition Construct back into hand. Who wants a +1/+1 counter? Clement does. Play this. I am going to bolt it in case they can kill Clement first, so I can play the full cost of the Beseiju. This thing. This is my instant speed removal for Exquisite Bloods. Oh, well, would y'all look at that? It's Exquisite Blood. Actually, it's not. It's a land. Yep. You know when they're playing that many tutors? They're totally built just around that combo. GG, Dina. Emrakul, the world anew. She has a madness cost, but you're never gonna get it if she's all the way over there in the command zone. But she's still pretty cool. She big. When she gets cast, you steal all the creatures. And then when she dies, so do all their creatures. She's pretty cool, though. And she has protection from almost everything. Flying, protection from spells, meaning you can't, like, target her with removal spells. And permanents that were cast this turn, like a Binding the Old Gods would be an example of that. Thankfully, we have protection for her, but then they would just steal all my creatures. And I really don't want my frogs stolen. I like my frogs. I wish we had this on turn 1. That would have been great. This is a frog that just keeps growing. Oh, I'm being asked, is Command Beacon in the format? Command Beacon would allow you to, like, just put this into hand. It's a way of getting around command tax. The answer is no, not in the format. We have this Tidebender, though. That would stop the ability. What if I had double triggers for my frogs? Yeah! It's a frog. It's a frog. It's a very large mechanical-looking frog. But who among us is not a giant mechanical-looking frog? Dang, that's a lot of ramp. I should probably start paying attention to how much mana they have soon, but like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's fine. This is fine. Right? It's fine. I don't really need to put those back into hand, but thank you. Frog, 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 frog. Does Tidebender work on the Eldrazi? You can counter the triggered on-cast ability on the stack. It doesn't have protection on the stack. And neither does its ability. Oof! That's gonna make my stuff cost more. I'm like a tempo deck. Don't do that to me. I need one of my creatures in the graveyard so I can get rid of that. Guess I'll just sit here on my 5-mana Tidebender. It's not a frog. What is a friend to a frog? Because, like, at this point, they're getting to the point where they can cast other Eldrazi. There are other Eldrazi that I think you have to be worried about. Other Emrakul, Ulamog, you know, the girls. That's a lot of ramp, and I don't want you to have it. Counterspell. Could I wipe the statue's abilities? It is an artifact, so the answer is yes. You could, but I would rather save it for Emrakul. Of course I have a DILF command in the chat. It says, dang, I love frogs. Because I love frogs. Now we're doing damage each turn with all the frog hits. I know, it would be really nice if we had lands. Playing this would have potentially drawn me cards, but I just don't feel comfortable not having some sort of interaction up. I would be able to target an ability of Emrakul that got triggered if it wasn't when it was on the stack. So, like, I can't Tidebind and remove Emrakul's abilities as she resolves because the ability finishes before she comes into play. It's like, it's the ability of the spell, not of the permanent. I guess that kind of makes sense. Alright, I'm just looking at... So they have a potential blocker in Mobilized District. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. They can prevent 4 trading for the land. But I can increase the damage slightly on the Might Caller by playing... None of these are cheap enough. Dang. Oh, goody, a land. So there's the Mobilized District. Trading into... Now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana here. They're trading for Clement. But I think that's okay. We are not going to move our commander to the command zone because I'm actually going to use it from the graveyard. Not to hit Godbearer's statue. but to hit one of their pieces of ramp. And I'm thinking the Celestus. It's like that or the Talisman. They're both gaining life. I don't have 2 creatures in a graveyard, or I would do both. One, two, three. Portal to Phyrexia! That's pretty sweet, but I don't actually think it saves them as long as I can get a frog into play. So I need a land. Land. Frog. We now have an unblockable 6 damage. This is also a frog. They're all frogs here. GG. Jin-Gitaxias. This is the Jin-Gitaxias that can flip over if you have 7 cards in hand. Also, you have to pay 4 mana, and he helps you draw those cards because he draws a card whenever you cast a non-creature spell that has a mana value 3 or greater. They have 1 mana. And I was thinking it's either going to be Stern Scolding, nope, Strix Serenade. They want to make sure they can counter all my stuff because they're a mono blue deck. So they have countered the Delighted Halfling, my sweet little hobbit. I don't want to play Mist Breath Elder because it would force me to bounce this bird, which would just disappear it. So that's bad. Ugh, Narset, you can have a bird. I'll have you know my deck likes to draw cards. They're saying nice. Thanks. Reclamation Sage. Get rid of that Arcane Signet. And then tell my opponent that I crave violence. I crave violence. Bird versus bird. Who wins? Nobody wins. Especially not us. I'm gonna try to play this Fountain Port Charmer. Make the creatures in my hand cost 1 less. It gets countered. That's fine. I'm gonna play the Mist Breath Elder because I am very down with like putting Reclamation Sage back in my hand, since they'll probably have more artifacts. It's how you ramp in blue. Also, there's good artifacts. Artifacts can be very good. But wait. My frog has been eaten by piranhas. Well. Alright, I suppose. It's not a frog anymore, so I can't use it for mana. Otherwise, I would... Clement. I can bounce it back into hand, but I want to be able to stifle Jin-Gitaxias if they try to do anything with it. And this will allow me to... Frog Befuddler. Wait a minute. I guess you could actually hit the ward. That's kind of wild. Ward up. Clement. Okay. That doesn't trigger Jin, though, since it's got a mana value of 1, and they just triggered the spree. Frog is skeleton. Could triple block, not going to. Okay. Do you think they forgot the, like, part of Jin that's like, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, mana value 3 or greater? Maybe. These both get lands. I'm gonna start with this. Topiary Stomper! We can get some green or we can get some blue. Or they could stifle the ability. Okay, you still have not triggered Jin. They're dice waving the frog? Okay. The top lookout gets me a land. The Topiary Stomper can now block. So that's why they were trying to get me to triple block, because they had Geist Wave. I really want Clement out. Oh, actually meant to, leave that there. Okay, Pact of Negation! Again, a spell that does not trigger Jin-Gitaxias. 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana, 2 mana, 0 mana! Let's get silly. This is my Jin-Gitaxias. It's kind of like your Jin-Gitaxias, but mine is better. Because mine has text. Mine will draw me a card when I cast Croaking Counterpart from the graveyard. Yours is a 5/5 with no other text or abilities. Because Ward is a triggered ability. Yeah, now I'm just straight up in, like, I wonder how wide I can go with frogs. I just gotta kill them in, like, 1 or 2 hits. And I think I could do that. Croaking Counterpart on... Because it has to hit a non-frog. Topiary Stomper. They were so focused on countering my commander, they forgot that there's other cards in the deck. Next turn should be lethal, unless they have a big old bouncy, which they totally could. Oh, good! A mana drain! Let's swing in. Clement, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. We have a counterspell. Well, I mean, like, they might have 2 counterspells, but if they have Cyclonic Rift, specifically Cyclonic Rift, we're so good. Because they will tap out. They've already cast the free counterspell. They might have another free counterspell, but, like, somebody stop them. Jin? That wouldn't even save you. I think. Wait. Yeah! Get out of here! Helga, Skittish, Seer. She's going to be ramping, drawing cards, and gaining life, all on her same ability. She's actually a very, very scary card to play against because of how good she is at what she does. She grows each time you cast a creature that has a mana value of 4 or greater. And that means that very quickly, she's going to have a huge power, and she taps for mana based on her power, but you can only spend that mana on, you know, like, big creatures. Creatures with X in their cost, or the mana value 4 or greater. Hey, Helga. Yep, that's exactly what they'll want, is a turn 1 birds, and I'm thinking about the subtlety on the birds to try and slow them down. Like, either that or we do it on the Helga. It's all the same to me right now. I'll let you have your bird. And eat it, too. Ribbit. A heavy pond profit. It is good to bounce back into hand. It is also a frog. Subtlety or Aether Channeler? I'm gonna go with the Aether Channeler here. Just bounce back into hand. Magic is super fun, I agree. It can also be crazy complicated. The Hedge Mage. The Hedge Maze. Oh, that is so many mana dorks. Oh my goodness! What? Calm down! Jeez. I'll trade with some of them. You interested? No? Okay, that's cool. gonna cast Subtlety. And y'all know where I'm casting Subtlety. I'm gonna evoke it. Drop this Befuddler. It will trigger Clement. And I can put the Channeler back into my hand. So I can bounce something again. What if they have a land? They do have a land. And a Beast Whisperer! Ah! Casting creatures will also draw them a card now. This is a silly game for silly people. Setting up Lily Splash Mentor is pretty cool because it will let me, like, repeatedly bounce things. But I kind of just want to ramp a little more. Nah, this guy's big. I like the big dude. If I had one more land, I would probably put the Pawn Prophet back into hand to play it again. But I don't. This is a 3-mana, sorcery speed, repeatable flicker. But their card draw engine is online. They have so much mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 still up! You got a prime time in hand? No, it's Karn's Temporal Sundering, which will give them an extra turn. Is yes a Abuelo frog? Helga may be a frog, but she's a frog that's considerably more frightening than Clement. As indicated by this. GG, Helga. Tatsunari Toad Rider. You know, Toads is pretty much frogs. So, yeah, same deck. We're doing the same exact thing. Actually, they're probably playing enchantments and making Kami whenever they cast an enchantment. Or if they already have Kami, draining me for life. This is a Sultai Enchantments commander who can also be a Frogs commander because he gives frogs not quite flying, but sort of flying. He makes them hop. Hello there, Tatsunari. I have a 1-mana 2/2. A 1-mana 2/2 that forces me to bounce things back into my hand. Which is normally a bad thing, but in this deck, it's a great thing. Because we have so many frogs that we want to be bouncing back into hand, and also, like, non-frogs. This thing is so good to bounce back into hand. Oh, they discarded a card in order to kill my Mistbreath Elder. Okay. I guess kind of just no matter what happens, I'll hold up Petty Theft so I can be petty and bounce any permanents that they play. Like that one! Be gone, Tony! Yes, Tony. Frogs should not fight one another. Frogs should be friends. Oh, hey, Shrieking Drake. Shrieking Drake is like the more aggressive Mistbreath Elder. You can just kind of keep bouncing it back into hand. Clement. Taps for mana. Yum, yum, yum. Eat the birds. Yum, yum, yum. Cast the commander. Or yum, 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 don't cast the commander. I don't need to tell you what to do. Oh, they probably think I bounced that because I have a counterspell. I don't actively have a counterspell. Aww. They got rid of Clement's fancy little ability. I could cast him again. Seems like a good enough thing to do. I'll use the Shrieking Drake to put Clement back into hand. And then I'll play Clement. And then I'll put the Shrieking Drake back into hand. For use later. Of course we're playing frogs. Our opponent is also playing frogs because it's Wednesday, my dudes. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. I have Get Rock Monster on my shirt. Everything is frogs. I love frog. Oh, the 3-tree scribe. A fun one. Do I just want to draw a card? Do I want to hold up the bouncies? kind of like drawing cards. Ooh, Kami of Bamboo Groves is cute. Gets me land, and it's just another, like, cheap thing to bounce, though. I'm gonna start by playing the 3-tree Scribe. Because this will, not draw me cards. It'll, make my creatures grow. So I have 2 blue mana. And then 1 more if I use Clement. So I don't know why they haven't done anything yet. Like, why they're holding up this. But we're going to use the Shrieking Drake to put itself back into my hand. Which makes the 3-tree Scribe very happy. We get to put a counter on one of our creatures. Would Slogurk do well in this deck? Slogurk's not a frog. Is it? Grolnock's a frog. Grolnock's in the deck. One for me, one for you. Swing with Clement. Also, Ladella Cruz, thank you so much for the sub. Slogurk is like a lands ooze, right? Shrieking Drake sure does give me card actions. You two are doing fantastic. Careful Cultivation gets them a token. Token can tap for mana. Nice. The Zagoth Triome. A very healthy mana here. 5 mana right now. 6 if they play a land. Come on, Pichio, what you got? Tatsunari, and they know they have an enchantment they can play. Destiny Spinner. Sup, Tony? Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty great. Like it says on the tin, it's a great henge. Very good henge at the very least. How do I think they would block? I'm just gonna attack him with Clement. These 2 tap for blue, but only for creatures. So, like, I can use Nightclub Bouncer. So, I don't know, get rid of the frog. Or Tony, or Tatsunari. Or get rid of the frog. Only I can have frog. Nice, got a land. That is what I wanted, so I can play the Shrieking Drake, and I can either use the Shrieking Drake to put this back into hand. But it's easier for me to put the Shrieking Drake back into hand off of Clement's ability. It's a really good henge. I mean, I'm playing a lot of creatures, so just the card draw is good. There is a reason I put Reliquary Tower in this deck. I had multiple games when I was first building this deck where I had 8 cards in hand at the end of each turn, and I was just like, wow, okay, frogs. Because it's a combination of a lot of the frogs are drawing me cards, and also I'm putting cards back into my hand. So, hand size big. And opponent, not here for it. Clearly, frogs beat toads. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. This hand is kind of lacking in frog, but what it doesn't have in frog, it does have in casting everything at instant speed. So we're going to throw down the Leyline of Anticipation. And hopefully the ability to cast things at instant speed will allow us to keep up with the Claw. Now, our opponent might think that we have many, many counter spells and things like that, and we do have a few in the deck, but the appearance of it, as we hold up mana, is the real winner here, because I'm just going to be sitting there, chilling, flashing out frogs, having a good time. Yeah, this Tetra, if you're wondering why I call it the Claw, if they play this card and they use the the +2 ability, you will know why it is called the Claw. You will see the Claw. This is in Dimir Artifacts deck. So you got any Dimir Artifacts? A bam! A frog! Go! Get him, little guy! A good frog. I didn't have anything to cast there. I want to deal one more damage, so I am going to flash out Clement here. It's riveting gameplay. It is. I have the subtlety, which I could use to put Tezzeret on top of the deck if that was a problem. Oh, hey, Tiny Bones. You're fine. Swinging in with these two. I want to trade with Clement. Tiny Bones does not have Death Touch. I'm going to chill on this Coalition construct, which should give these a perpetual buff. Oh, they're reanimating it. Okay. Hi, Tiny Bones. Tony Boneses. Oh, right. This is an end step. It doesn't matter. Frog. No bouncy. Just frog. I actually have hoof mana, but everything would be tapped, so I'm good. Fine with this trade. Chilling on the subtlety, hoping to put this back into hand. Okay. Gilded Lotus. I may actually just play this as a 3/3 flyer. Oh, that works. Alright, we want to tap use. 1 mana short. Being able to recast the construct. They were trying to make too much mana and I got scared. This buffs this, so I'm going to do these, I think, on my turn. I know that that's like worse for dodging board wipes, but I kind of know what they have, and I know what I have. This gets me an extra damage off Clement. They're down to 5, and even if they wipe the board, like, there are hoofs in the future. Crater hoofs. And a hoof on an empty board is still 6 damage. Are you gonna play the claw? Are you gonna metamorph the Gilded Lotus? Cool. Oh, hi, Scraps. Yep, there's blood on this. Oh, it's Tony again! Hey, Tony! Tony, how you doing? Good old Tony Boneses. Yeah, they can gain some life off the Tezzeret ability. What can I cast out of my graveyard that I care about? Very little. But I can't be obnoxious with this nightclub bouncer. Sorry, I'm distracted. There's a kitty cat who is nibbling upon my ankles. Like some sort of strange fluffy beast. Scraps, would you like to play with the frogs? Oh, that's a good bounceable. You're gonna hit my my nightclub bouncer. Replay T-Bones. Bones. These two are cute. Tiny Bones really wants to be on the board. Listen, I could kill him. Or I could just put this little Sunshower Druid back into my hand. And then play it again. Whee! That's why I really like the way line of anticipation with Clement. Being able to block and bounce is really good. Girl, you're so cute. Yeah, you're adorable and we love you. Is it Tezzeret time now? Alright, so he's gonna hit us with the claw, and he does gain life off the claw. I'm really not giving it enough. A claw! Oh, I gotta play this first. Gotta give it full enthusiasm. Scraps, you're so good! So if I play this, I'm fully tapped out, which means I'm just swinging for 8. Not enough. I guess it doesn't really matter when I'm doing this. I'm gonna do it right now anyway. Because there is a cute little kitty here who is just giving me the most scrumbly of loves. Gonna swing at Tezzy. Oh my gosh, Scraps. You were already up on the stream right before we started recording, getting head scritches. How do you want this many heads? Oh my gosh. She just bapped at the dinosaur on the screen. Girl, that is so cute. What the? What? Okay, did you guys see the meteor golem, like, bajap and bazam? I'm crazy, right? No. Okay, who are you hitting with the meaty golem? Clement? Playline? Reclamation Sage? I will buff you. Okay, Scraps. Oh, you are so good. Okay, bye, girl. She's being so silly today. They have too much mana. I think I gotta block. Trade ya. That's nice. You're also nice. Probably gonna go for Fountain Port Charmer, because I'm at the point where it's just like, man, I want to cast this hoof. I've been 1 mana off. I want a hoof! Okay, bye, girl. He gave me a little like, Fountain Port Charmer, another new arena-only card. Gives a perpetual discount to some things in my hand. Yeah, the synthesizer's terrifying. What if they'll bring back Lodestone Golem to trigger it again? Or if they'll just go for the plus? Okay, that's 8 damage indeed. Ow.
My artifacts give you strength.
I'm not dead yet, unless you take like an extra turn, which is totally possible. Alright, gonna use up all my mana. Clement can tap for 1. Oh my gosh! Mana! We're gonna do this pre-combat, because, like, I want the hoof to attack. Do we get there? Do we get the big swing? Let's find out. Cyclonic Rift! The answer is no, we don't. And we are dead to a construct And a golem! Or the claw. Come on, hit me with the claw! Alright, this is easy too. Good game, Tezzeret. Helga, Skittish, Seer. We ran into one of these before. Helga is a fantastic ramping commander that plays big, chunky spells. In this hand, it doesn't have what I really want, which is a super early piece of ramp. But what it does have is a Mockingbird, which means that I might be able to make a copy of their ramp. Exactly what they did. They played some ramp. And I think that the Delighted Halfling would look a lot better with wings. So I'm going to play a Mockingbird for X equals 0. And we can always bring this back into hand, by the way. I have a Delighted Halfling. Isn't that cool? This is one of the coolest new clone cards, especially when it comes to, like, recasting it, changing what we're playing. Hey, Leyline of Anticipation, you're a little late. We got this Clement, uncounterable, and they do have access to counter spells in their deck. And now I could put this back into hand, but, like, having the extra mana is really great. It's gonna let me cast more spells, more frogs, more fun. Hi, Helga. I really wish I had a way to, like, nullify Helga here before she gets bigger. I'd say, like, the first turn she's out isn't the problem. It's, like, the 4th time she's out. I can bounce her back into hand, though. Let's go. Both use. I'm just gonna do it now. No. Yes. I know, it's weird because you think X is going to be the mana value of the card you're copying. It's the total mana you spend, including the blue. Oh, there we go. So Utter Insignificance is the exact kind of card I was looking for. I will swing in with just these two this time. Gonna try to find a land here. Lily Splash Mentor. Helga is 1/1. Now their deck is chock full of good spells in Bant. Good creatures in Bant. So, yes, I may have made it so Helga's not going to be ramping, drawing cards, doing the thing, but she is still a frog to be feared. Helga! Oh, she's scary. She's a lot less scary if they don't have anything they can cast. Now, they could have something with Flash. You see how they have Voracious Great Shark, like, as their sleeve? I do no fear. I want to buff my frogs. This will buff my frogs in hand and on board. I could put this back into hand. I don't think it would be terrible. Drawing another card. Chunk. Swinging in. Oh, it's Thrix, the Sudden Storm. Bye, Thrix. Not an overloaded Cyclonic Rift, but sometimes you just gotta bounce. We're frogs, we bounce. That's the thing we do. So they could replay Helga here, they could replay Thrix, and now that I know about the Thrix, I could try to play around it, or, oh, just 2 forests in hand, and a big old Vorinclex, who does have reach, which means that my poor flying Mockingbird Hobbit. I love that it's also a bird, because it's like, I'm wearing a costume. So cute. I can bring back Cyclonic Rift off the Cyber Siphoner. How much damage do I have? Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I actually think that's the move here. I have to leave back at least one other frog, though, to do it. If I can wait a turn. Or I could just do it now. And then I think the overflow damage could be enough. Because I need the extra blue. That's why I have to hold back this frog. I'm going to put this back into my hand. Put this back into my hand. Bounce their blocker, the Vorinclex. And then replay the Pawn Prophet because I only have 4 lands and I would like a 5th. Not bouncing that. Nice. Gets me another blue source too. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana to work with. It'd be something scary, but we have a lot of things that are doing just 2 damage here. So they'd need to block at least, like, at least half. No, they have to block 4, because 1 plus 2 plus 2. That's still 5. Saying GG. Nice. Looks like the recursion of spells and recursion of frogs is enough. We hop our way to victory. The infamous Cruel Claw. Cruel Claw is the weasel that hits you and then casts spells for free. But you'd think it's, like, from us they cast the spells. No, it's from them. You get to set up your own deck with the high-cost, beautiful spells that you want to cast for the low cost of discarding a card. But in order to get that ability, you do need to hit your opponent with Cruel Claw, meaning that you'll be supplementing with ways that make Cruel Claw unblockable, pieces of ramp, and just generally good spells in these colors. Hi, Ragavan. I have some generally good spells to deal with you as well. I'm going to pop down the PDF. Poison Dart Frog, a nice little blocker. Ribbit. It might have removal. Oh, Throat Gophers. Indeed, my frog was not an artifact. This frog could be an artifact. I did get a land, thank goodness. I could play Clement. Clement's a decent blocker. If I think Clement is going to die, though, maybe I shouldn't. Clement anyway. Ta-da! It's a frog. It's ramp for frogs. Use something like the Dream Enchanter. This thing. Cruel Claw. Oh my god, what if I had a Cruel Claw? It'd be so cash money. Do I think they're gonna have unblockable spells? Because I can set up blockers, or I could just tap it down. I think I'm just gonna tap it down. Cruel Claw can't attack if it's stunned for 3 turns. Cool. Cool and cruel. Usually with Dream Enchanter, I want to be tapping down my own stuff, drawing the cards, and bouncing it, but the flexibility of being able to stun my opponent's stuff is huge. Alright, Thieves' Tools, they're gonna have an unblockable Ragavan. Nasty, but so good. I can copy either Cruel Claw or Ragavan. I can't copy a frog with Croaking Counterpart, though. I love that this has its own token. Ooh, do you want to play Aether Channeler? I might just go for Primetime next turn. Like, yeah, Ragavan can steal my stuff, but most of my stuff is oriented around bouncing things. Aether Channeler, and they bounce. Or maybe they draw, and maybe they make a bird. Oh, my sweet little Clement. Now I can't play my Primetime. How dare you? I can't believe you would do such a thing. Just kidding, of course I can. Aether Channeler. bounce my Aether Channeler back into hand. Look at it. I love that there's a special token. I think it's only in Arena, too. Lizard Blades! Yo! They can hit twice with Ragavan! Or, like, Cruel Claw. Or, like, Ragavan. Need a land and a... I kind of wanted those. Like, lands? I want lands. Oh, everything could become frog. Everything's already frog. I could draw a card. Or bounce monkey. Uh-oh. There go my Aether Channelers. Also, one of my frogs is now dead. I also don't have any good blocks now for the Lizard Blades if they want to swing in. Two mana still. Is it monkey time? Behold! Monkey! I'll take two, but I'm in a precarious situation here. Leaf Guide. You know what? Maybe I should have... if I bolted this in... and went for Croaking Counterpart. I would have had to do it before I played this. I just don't have the mana for it now, because it's not a creature spell. It would have killed Ragavan and the Lizard Blades. But I think I'm dead no matter what.
If I were you, I'd just surrender right
The whole, worm damage. Eh. Just showing you what's up. My downfall, my demise. That's what's up. Yep, they minus. I lose 4 life from the worm. Oh. No, come on. Cruel Claw, don't you want to get in here? Thank you. It makes it lethal. Die! But we get to die from Cruel Claw. Sadly, Cruel Claw didn't get to cast anything for free. But it's kind of my fault. I'm the one who tapped it down. GG, Cruel Claw. Ulamog, the Defiler. Ulamog is another big, colorless Eldrazi. This is the one that, on cast, exiles half a deck. That's pretty sweet. I have a counter spell. I don't really have what I want, which is to say frog. Also green mana. This is frog. Not green mana, but it's frog. Ula frog, yes. Ula frog. Frog. It's big. Yeah, I want to slow that down a little bit. Not the Tidebender, because I don't think they're going to have many things for the Tidebender to hit. Tidebender could hit the Exile ability off of Ulamog, but that is so far away. Right now, my biggest worry is I still don't have green mana. Grolnok! It's so frog. Wish I could have lapsed it. Frog! Frog. No. Frog. Frogs. Slightly larger frogs. They have 6 mana. They're getting into Eldrazi territory. Also, free spells! Yippee! It's not ramp. Only for artifacts. I'm gonna play this first. Two frogs are attacking. Roll knock, one of the few frog typo cards that exists. Oh, Ulamog's got ramp. Alright, so they have 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna play the Poison Dart Frog. Over holding up the memory lapse here. Yo, King Case, I hope that is a good sign, good progress, all that stuff. Ooh, Matter Shaper. Cool, Eldrazi. They now have Improvise, meaning that they can tap these artifacts. Oh, this is an artifact. But they can tap these artifacts. Even that one for Ulamog. So that means Ulamog could happen next turn. Unless, of course, I could bounce some stuff with Hullbreaker Horror or just kill them now. Trying to think, like... if I'd be able to, especially if I hit the Inspiring Statuary on this. I'm going to start with an attack. I'm going to just attack with 3. I don't think I have the lethal this turn. It's all permanents. I love it. Yeah, the good news is, like, half my deck being exiled, that's fine. I can deal with that. Wow, I've never seen so many Grolnok triggers. It's almost like we're a frog type deck. That is so crazy. You got... ooh, a Herald Torn! That'll discount your Eldrazi even more. Oh no, my Grolnok. Aw. Wait, that would stop me from being able to use these things. Okay, do we have anything here I could, like, flash out to save it? No. I'll make your Palladium Mirror tap for less mana, though. Oh, wait, I could exile it. That would use up everything. Everything I've ever known and loved. Buy cool stuff in exile! The top card of your library, is it an Eldrazi? No, it wasn't. Oh, that's good. I'm glad your chemo's progressing in the right direction, the good direction. So we're just gonna go ahead and wait. You uncounterable? I forgot about the what's it called? Yeah, this is fine now. It can't attack this turn. That's two attackers. What attackers? Orbs are happening. I'm just gonna play this now. Do I have one drop, but I also have this one drop. I'm gonna put the Metallic Mimic back into hand. And buff up you. I know, I ain't never seen that many Croaks before. I think that Grolnok could also be a fun Frogs commander, but it doesn't work as well with, like, the other Simic stuff. I love losing life. It's just 10. Just 10 life. One frog Oh, +1/+1 counter. Bounce it. Swing in. Lethal. GG Ulamog. Brutaclad, Telcor Engineer. Brutaclad makes a token and then can turn all your tokens into the same thing. This is really fun, especially if you have a way to make a non-legendary copy of Brutaclad that's a token, which is in Arena. I think it's Arenicus's Vile Duplication. There's a lot of really cool stuff, though, that you can do with Brutaclad and tokens, including not just creature tokens, treasure tokens, map tokens. If it's a token, it might do something in this deck. Do I want to go for Clement this turn, or is a Poison Dart Frog just fine? I'll go for Clement. I got the birds. May as well. Blue mana and a frog. They have ramped a Cold Steel Heart. Could bounce that. The Aether Channeler. Let me see what's on top of my deck. Land. Lands are nice. I'm gonna go for the Aether Channeler Bouncy Bounce. If I can slow down their ramp, maybe I can slow down their commander, since their commander does cost 6 mana. Brutaclad is one of those decks that, like, it can win very suddenly. Oh, 2 ramps. Go to combat, swing with these 2. And pass the turn. I'm gonna hold up my memory lapse. The hand was too pretty to mulligan. I get it. Sometimes you just have nice, beautiful early mana into frogs. Nexus of Becoming. Wait, oh, it's an artifact. I can hit it with the Voracious Grey Shark. That lets them essentially get cool card advantage. I'm gonna put the Aether Channeler back into hand. Shrieking Drake. He sure does yell. And we'll pop down Aether Channeler. That's the Cold Steel. Tap specifically Clement. Shrieking Drake. Get the Aether Channeler back into hand. Throw this down for blue. And then I'm still holding up the memory lapse. Was it keeping you off 6 mana is very important to me. I'm scared of Brutaclad. So they had to discard as part of the casting cost. They should cut them off from anything. No treasure tokens, no funny business, just frogs. GG. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I hope you enjoyed watching Clement cause problems with all of these Simic cards. Now, this deck is a little bit obnoxious to play against because, well, the number of counter spells, bounce spells, and everything like that does add up. But it's really fun to try and figure out the best lines of play while you're playing all of these frogs. Do you want to keep your frog in the battlefield so you'll have extra mana? Do you want to put it back into your hand so you can get those enter the battlefields again? There's always decisions to be made while playing this deck, making it a little tricky to pilot, but really satisfying to play. If you're looking for my deck list, it is below in the description. And if you would like to suggest a commander, please let me know in a comment. This was a suggested commander. I had multiple people asking me, please, Amy, build frogs. And a lot of people were also asking for Grolnok frogs, but, you know, Bloomburrow just came out. I want to play with some Bloomburrow commanders, and Clement was a great choice. This is a really cool commander to have a chance to build. And I feel like people are not really playing Clement because of the kind of trickiness in trying to get the right balance of frog and non-frog cards in a deck. So please go ahead and try my list. I hope that you like getting to play it. This deck was also made a lot better, and I'd kind of put off playing it because of the addition of these various alchemy cards. So these cards I knew about a couple weeks in advance because I'm the one who made the spoiler video revealing them, and I was like, oh no, I can't build frogs until I have the Leap Leaf guide, because this frog is so good when it comes to putting things back into our hand so we can recast them at instant speed. Even just putting a blocker back into your hand and replaying it next turn can be so dang good with all the frogs in this deck, and I really enjoyed getting to pilot this deck. I also want to say thank you so much to everybody who came by Twitch chat and both watched me record this video and just hung out. I stream almost every single day on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Amazonian. You can find the link below. So thank you to everybody who comes by and hangs out with me. I always appreciate the company. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.